There will be warning. Yeah. Well, what type of warning? How late is the warning going to be? I don't know. You guys will probably know basically like what we know. So I'm imagining that you guys will have a pretty good understanding of what's going on. You'll probably, I mean, you'll know preemptively days before the meetup, and then you'll probably know you won't know like exact specifics, but you'll just know generally. Okay, shit's happening right now. Shit's happening over the next couple days, and then like it's happening, and then and then again there probably will be warnings like hours before as well, and like before like anything drops, and then shit will drop, and then there'll be teasers and shit. I'm sure that tease shit, and then it'll be like the next day there's gonna be like a vlog, and then there'll be a vlog, and then there'll be the next day there's another vlog, and then maybe a couple days later we do streams and whatever. I don't know. You guys will know. You'll know. It'll be no surprise. It'll be the only surprise will be like whenever you first get confirmation that it's happening in this week or whatever. And that I'm sure that'll probably come in the form of like a George tweet or something where he tweets out, "I fucking got my visa" or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it happened. I just know that you guys will know. And there will be no surprise in terms of, oh my god, I'm not going to be like whatever. Like the only thing you'll be caught off guard is us saying yes, it's happening like right now. But are you better at cooking than George and stuff? Yes, I'm definitely. I have cooked. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert, but I understand how to use different ingredients. I understand how to cook things and what things mesh together, and how to use certain utensils, and I know how to if you give me a recipe, I can follow it easily and understand why each step in the recipe is done and why it needs to be done and how to do it. But I'm not a great chef or anything. Like I'm sure if I tried to cook things on my own that I would make monstrosities, but I definitely have a better understanding than both of them. Those guys are idiots.
I'm not 100% going to TwitchCon, so don't base your plans around me if you are deciding on going or not. I also would not be doing a meet and greet at TwitchCon if I do go. Just hanging with friends, and possibly panel-related stuff. I think that it's more likely than not that I do go, but I think there's a decent chance either I decide not to go, plans fall through, or there's barriers that just prevent it. Just saying this so no one buys tickets just on the off chance of seeing me because I have a ticket. TwitchCon or not, you'll have chances to meet me after I face reveal, which definitely will not happen at TwitchCon, would be before, and probably lots even in places where you wouldn't expect. Can ask questions below though.
This last part in Dream's priv tweet thread is making my head spin. Why'd we could meet Dream before TwitchCon? Is the face reveal happening regardless of George being in Florida, or is George arriving in Florida before TwitchCon, which is less than 50 days? I fucking feel the world order changing. I really logged in Twitter thinking that I may get news about something.
I'd say before I was 100% on by the end of the year. That's what I was saying, was 100% by the end of the year. Otherwise, I literally would what I say? I said eat my poo or something. I don't even remember. But I'd move that now to the end of October. I'd say 100% by the end of October. That is a certainty that the only way that it would stop is like a meteor hitting Earth or some catastrophe or some shit. That's the only way that would get in the way of it happening before the end of October. Meetup and face reveal and all that shit. So I'm 100% on that. But in terms of exactly when, I don't know. The most likely time frame is the time frame that I gave, but it could happen after that. So, yeah. Let's say you don't go to TwitchCon because George isn't in Florida. Theoretically, would you face for that weekend away? Well, I think there's multiple scenarios where I don't go to TwitchCon. I think that there's the scenario where George isn't in Florida. I think that scenario is actually not okay. I think that there's multiple scenarios. So one, if the face reveal winds up being like too close, like it's like, oh, George is gonna arrive in Florida, like the day before TwitchCon or something, or like the day, whatever he's going to, then I just wouldn't go to TwitchCon because I'd just be like, or a couple days before or whatever. Because I'd be like, I don't want to. I think honestly, I'd probably just delay the face reveal. I'd be like, all right, it's next week or something. Like I just do it right after TwitchCon. So I just wouldn't go to TwitchCon, and then it would just be everything would happen after TwitchCon, the meetup and whatever. But maybe they would want to go to TwitchCon. I don't know. TwitchCon's it's kind of annoying in that aspect because if it ends up being that close, I don't want it like stealing the thunder of all our meetup and shit, and I wouldn't want Twitch to get like massive promo from that and everything. So realistically, I just wouldn't go to TwitchCon. I guess even if they went, and then I would just do the face reveal like a couple days after TwitchCon and everything. Um, so that's one scenario. So here's the scenarios. One, George is in Florida before, like well before TwitchCon, like I don't know, end of September or like very early October, and so there's enough time in between. We meet up, we're able to post everything, etc. Days before TwitchCon. Cool, works out. I go to TwitchCon, because why not? Scenario two, it's really close. Like he's going to be arriving in Florida like right before TwitchCon, like the 6th or the 5th or something. Then I probably either none of us go to TwitchCon and then we would just do it anyway and not care. And we'd face reveal I'd face reveal and we'd do the meetup and shit right then. So that's a scenario. Or if maybe they'd go to TwitchCon, but I wouldn't want to go to TwitchCon because I hadn't face reveal at that point. I don't want to do a face reveal at TwitchCon. And so I guess I probably wouldn't go to TwitchCon, but I wouldn't want to stop them from going. And so then I'd be like, all right, cool. Maybe he would just go. Maybe they'd go to TwitchCon first, and then they'd fly. That way, the meetup and everything happens all at once. That's probably what would happen. Honestly, that kind of sucked because then George would meet a bunch of people before me. Sad, but I think that's unlikely. But it could happen. If it did, then I guess it would end up being like meetup and face reveal would be like right after TwitchCon. So it'd be like the 11th, 12th, 13th, or something. I don't know. I think those are really the only two scenarios. I mean, I guess there is a scenario where George isn't in Florida at all by then. In which case I wouldn't go to TwitchCon. So, those are the three scenarios. Either he's in Florida already and then I go to TwitchCon. He's in Florida too late and I don't go to TwitchCon, or he's not in Florida, or I'm sorry, he's in America too late and then I don't go to TwitchCon, or he's just not in America at all and then I just don't go to TwitchCon. So I think that the most likely scenario is that I go to TwitchCon. So I haven't like bought my plane tickets and stuff, so that's how it's not confirmed. But I have actually done other stuff to I have reserved other things, and that's how that's there's enough confidence there that I'm going, that I've done things in preparation for going, and made arrangements for some things, but I also haven't made arrangements for other things. So it's likely I go, but it's not unlikely that I don't. And it's not only if George isn't in America on time. So I guess there is probably other scenarios where there's just too much shit going on that I just don't go anyway, and everything else happens still, like face reveal, meetup, etc., and then I just don't go. But I think that's the least likely scenario because I think I just really want to go. But yeah, I mean, I will say as soon as I know that I guess I can't do that. As soon as I can say for certain publicly whether or not I'm going to TwitchCon, I will. That way, people that want to plan to go would be able to. I would do that. And it won't be like, all right, TwitchCon's in a week, I'm going. You'll have some time, no matter what, to know whether or not I'm going. But it won't be a ridiculous amount of time. It's like you won't know within the next like week, or in the next like 10 days. So you might have like maximum like 3-week warning, and then minimum like 10 10 days or so. So I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to promise anything to anybody, but I also don't want to disappoint anybody. So, but I have, I mean, obviously I got partnered on Twitch, and a big, I talked to them and worked stuff out and everything, and I do like have plans for an arrangement with Twitch for TwitchCon. So I do think that I'm going, but I don't know, and I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want anybody spending money and then I don't go. So I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but I mean, the reason I got partnered on Twitch was primarily for TwitchCon stuff. So obviously, I very much plan on going. I hope I can go, but if it's not a big deal. There's so much cool stuff coming up, so I'm not too like, I'm not gonna, if it's at all an inconvenience for me, then I'm not gonna go, or an inconvenience for George or for Nick or whatever, then I'm not gonna go. But I do want to go, and if it's not an inconvenience, then I'm definitely going. I'm excited to meet everybody and stuff. It'll be fun.